So I launched Streaming Museum in 2008. It was the cusp of a new wave of expansion of the internet and mobile devices and screen culture. So it was a public art experiment in using technology to create programs of art and contemporary issues and circulate them around the world. So now at the 10-year mark of Streaming Museum, I'm exploring further what I've learned from working with these various experts in A View from the Cloud. And of particular interest is the work of Dr. Emile Bruneau, who is a neuroscientist, and he's the director of the Peace and Conflict Neuroscience Lab at the University of Pennsylvania. So he's studying the roots of conflict and developing the innovative methods for transcending the biases that drive conflict. So his really excellent presentation is on the website. You can hear his details about his studies. But to summarize, he says that his research shows that people with differing beliefs can come together around points of mutual interest within an issue when evidence and emotional connection can be made. So this is certainly what the arts do. The arts have a practical use. The arts provide the evidence and the real news about issues from a humanist perspective, and they provide emotional connection to the issues. So I'm going to show a few examples of art that I've shown in various Streaming Museum programs that do just this. On the issue of power and politics, we have Ligorano Reese's temporary ice monuments. This is from their Melted Away series. This one was melted away during the People's Climate March in 2014. They've also melted the American Dream, middle class, democracy, the Truth. Those were during the Republican and Democratic conventions, and then Truth at the 1-year anniversary of Trump's inauguration, and then the Economy in 2008.
So today I'm going to talk about the project Portraits in Landscape that is on view concurrently at Times Square and here on Governor's Island, part of Harvest Works and Streaming Museum's collaboration. And I do want to give some thank yous before I begin. One to Nina from Streaming Museum, and so enjoyed that presentation. I've been following your work for many years, and I'm thrilled to now be part of it. And then also Carol, who also has been doing tremendous work for, in supporting artists, working with new media and really important concepts that speak to the age in which we live and all coexist. You're seeing here a beginning when I was looking at these Arcimboldo pieces, and I was starting with generic 3D models, and then I'd start with them, kind of pose them in a selfie pose, you see here, and also given that I'd already worked with emoji for over 2 years in the Garden of Emoji Delights, really starting to create this new language of portraiture using these emoji symbols. I actually have names for all of my different characters too, and they are based on computer voices on the Mac system. So there's Maura, Oliver, Victoria, and Ava. Ava, actually, the 3D version of Ava appears on the Whitney site currently, and I started with this original sketch or portrait and then modeled it in 3D, and she meets and greets people at sunrise and sunset on the whitneymuseum.org's website. Now, getting to the project Portraits in Landscape, one other thing that is a way that I describe my practice, horror vacui. It's a Latin term, fear of empty spaces. And in regards to art, I definitely think you could see why I might be drawn to someone like Hieronymus Bosch and also Arcimboldo in the sense of this kind of horror vacuic tendency to want to fill up spaces. But I also feel like it's a metaphor for the hypermediation of, you know, our lives today. And so that horror vacui is really, or vacuic tendencies is really my way of kind of processing things and really finding a visual expression for all of the different sensations and all of the different things and media that we process on a daily basis. We probably process more information in a day than a medieval person processed in a lifetime. I don't have stats on that, but I am kind of making that assumption. Just even based on reading literature of that day or looking at the work. That said, as much as things have changed, when you look at someone like Bosch or you look at someone like Arcimboldo, there are atavistic tendencies in humanity. You know, in terms of someone like Arcimboldo was really interested in humans' relationship to nature, because this was the dawning of humanism. All the emphasis was on humanity. But what about our relationship to nature, right? And so I did set my portraits in these landscapes, teeming with a new nature, digital nature. And these are stills, so I began with stills, and then I animated all of those. And there are 3 different landscapes. There's a 3-channel video on View upstairs. I'll show you a clip of that. And then also on View in Times Square is a single-channel video with 2 of my characters and also a single landscape. I was really, really excited when Nina proposed to me, you know, the idea of proposing something to Times Square. And I thought something like, people taking selfies in this kind of digital landscape would really resonate in that environment, especially at this epic scale.
When I create a melody or like a chord structure, if I am just jamming away and I'm like, okay, this sounds great, and then, you know, I go over to like the deli to grab like a sandwich, if I can't remember what that melody is, it's not, to me, it's not a good melody because it's just not memorable enough. Like, a lot of these pop songs, they have these hooks that are drilled into your head, and you probably don't remember like the intro of a song when, like, you know, you start remembering it in your head. It's just like the chorus replaying. That was actually a really interesting process too, like constructing sounds for like the landscape. I was thinking like, what do emojis sound like? I have no idea. What does a city of emojis sound like? Probably really noisy. So I had a lot of just atmospheric sounds that I made of just like, sort of like walking outside in the country early in the morning where you hear like cicadas and dews, like just morning dew stuff. Yeah, I grew up in the suburbs, so I heard a lot of just like small, like a harmony of like insects at night. Like I can't discern what they are, but just like the collage of every like background noise at once. So I wanted to reflect that synthetically.